Hey guys, James Headley here. I'm going to do a little run through of what effects I use and the sounds that they make for any of you guys who don't know or don't have much knowledge of overdrives and delays and reverbs. I'll give you a little walkthrough of what the ones I use sound like and why I chose the ones that I did. And took a lot of research, but I'll give you a quick run through here. So if you give me a second to get my camera in place. Okay. So my dry signal through my amp. This is on position 4 on my Fender American Strat. So nice warm sound I have on there. Now, first thing that is pretty important for presence for worship music, it fills in a lot for lots of different genres as well. John Mayer, Chris Buck. Basically every worship guitar player uses a reverb pedal as well to some dimension. I chose the Revelation reverb from Jet Pedals because it's a affordable version of a Strymon Big Sky. So just a standard sound I'll use in a worship set for a strumming song. It has a little bit of sustain on there. But if we're at the end of a worship set and I need some presence, I'll turn up the mix and the decay as well to give it a nice long trail, and then you get a sound like this. So that gives you a lot longer trail on the reverb, and this particular reverb gives you a really nice wet sound, very similar to the cloud sound that comes on a Strymon Big Sky, and that's why I chose that particular reverb. And so if I set that back to kind of just a regular strumming setting here. Now this is my Mjolnir, and it is a Klon clone, and they are a very good Klon clone. They sound fantastic. It gives you that nice John Mayer tone. So here's my dry signal. It helps shape my tone, gives me a little bit more drive pushing the amp, and it just makes everything sound a lot fuller. I use it pretty much 99% on all the time. Now my settings, I have the gain really low, I have my tone basically straight up and down, and my volume is almost straight up and down to give me a boost depending on which guitar I use. If I use this Fender or if I use my Austin, which has a lot hotter pickups, I'll play with the volume a little bit and try and hit the right boost that I would like for the songs I'm playing or the particular guitar I'm using. I can get a lot dirtier on this pedal too. But I particularly use it for a clean boost, and it's like a John Mayer sound in one pedal basically. So that's why I love the Klon. Now for my second stage overdrive, I use a Joyo Vintage Overdrive. It's fairly new to my board, but it's a Tubscreamer clone, and it has a lot more overdriven sound with basically the same settings I run on my Klon, but generally I leave the Klon on and then I'll step on the Vintage Overdrive. and so it gives you a really nice lead tone for any rockier songs. The Vintage Overdrive can go a lot dirtier for if I'm doing like BTO or classic rock, or if I'm doing punk rock. It does it all in combination with the Mjolnir. It really pushes and boosts the amp. Now for my final pedal I'd carry on here, besides a tuner, which is pretty standard for anybody who plays guitar, everybody needs a tuner, is my Time Force, and it is just a cheap made in China delay by Nux. Probably the cheapest one you'll find out there that's dependable with a tap function on it. At first I wasn't a big fan of it. It took me a long time to figure it out and kind of get used to what it does. I've been a analog guy running a digital delay, a DD3 from Boss, and I'm very good at clocking it in with the analog knobs and everything on it. You can do a bit of that on here, but the tap function makes it way faster to work on stage. So depending on the song, I'll set either quarter note or eighth of a note like I have right now. And so eighth of a note. Gives you that nice double time strumming, or if you're doing picking for like U2 songs or worship stuff, it gives you quite a clean, it's quite decent for, I think I paid 40 or 50 bucks for it, so it has a fantastic sound to it for the amount I paid for. Lots of guys could use like a DD7 with a tap function or a tap pedal, or a newer DD20 with a tap function pedal on it, and you would get similar results, probably with a little bit cleaner, better sound on there. But for budget reasons and just overall what I use it for, this does the job quite fine. And back to my amp, it's just a Vox MV50 clean amp. It has a very nice big sound to it with my Celestion speaker that I think I paid about 40 bucks for brand new, and I just built it right into my board. So I have an all-in-one package here. I need to invest in some power supplies to properly send the right power to all my pedals and fix a little bit of ground issues, but overall I'm very happy with what I got going on here. And if you have any questions, feel free to throw them at me. All together, if we throw a wet sound on here, and I don't run a tremolo on my board. I could, but when you run a wet reverb and a delay, especially on a dotted eighth or quarter note, giving a little bit of vibrato by like shaking the neck on your guitar while you're strumming, gives you enough vibrato for most worship songs that we use. I also sometimes use the whammy bar depending on which guitar I'm playing at the moment, but you can get similar effects with it too. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks.